into new. And the bigger challenge is we cannot just sit there and ohm it in. Yes, everyone's entitled to it. No, we can't ohm it in. Everyone is entitled to the ocean. But that way of thinking would be like going to a beautiful beach resort, taking a penthouse hotel room and sitting in it and trying to ohm in the ocean. Well, you can ohm and ohm all you want. And guess what? The ocean isn't coming. Or if it does, run. It's a tsunami. You actually have to pick up your spiritual little butt, stick it into a bathing suit, the elevator, march across the lobby, march across the beach, and then, and only then, can you get as wet with ocean water as everyone else. Yes, we're all entitled to it, but we have to go and meet it. What happens, what's explained by the researchers, is in this expansion, we've been accessing not just energy beyond what's been here before, but beyond energy, a spectrum of energy, light, and information that we've not had access to before, and that seems to explain part of what's going on. And in order to access this new level, we actually have to interact with someone who has already accessed it. We cannot hide behind the delusion of saying we were reconnected in a dream, or we remember it from a past life. It's not from a past life. It's from now. It's a challenge for us to meet now. And the challenge is, am I willing to come to you and say, all right, you've already been bringing this through. You learned it from someone else. You've learned how to access it from someone else who accessed it from someone else. And now I would like to. I can't go, I'm just entitled. I'm afraid that little bit of ego gets smacked away from us. And that's a small price to pay to gain a much greater reward.
Absolutely. One last final question. Do you have a message?
As opposed to a next to last final question?
Well, I know you're very tight on your time today, and I appreciate you taking time out to speak to us. I could speak to you all day, actually. Just wanted to know, what message do you have for humanity? You obviously have a wonderful perspective. There must be something you'd like to say to people out there.
I don't know what not to say. That's probably part of the problem. The main understanding that I'd like us to gain from this is that there is no special person to go to who's holding the key to healing for you or a loved one. You can fully access instantly the very same ability that anyone else has. Let me explain it. So for instance, the book, The Reconnection, is in 36 different languages so far. I've trained close to 70,000 people. A good 20% of them, about 14,000 or so, are mainstream healthcare practitioners, doctors, nurses, physical therapists, medical researchers. Another maybe 30% are masters and grandmaster teachers of the various energy healing techniques who've recognized that the technique itself is the glass ceiling, is the limitation, and they're learning to transcend that. That's why they're coming. And the other 50% is the mainstream world, just like you and me and everyone else. Because a lot of the mainstream just was turned off by having to learn to move this hand this way and that hand that way and collapse a wavelength and spray yourself off with alcohol. It's silly. We don't need to do that any longer, if we ever really did. And so we teach this work because you can access it. And just last week I gave a seminar here with about 1,100 people teaching how to do reconnective healing. And we teach it on the globe. As I said, around the globe. I'm on the road 45 weeks a year. We will come back to Amsterdam next November, but between now and that whole year, there are many other countries we'll be teaching it in. And the way we teach it is this. Usually there's a Friday night presentation for about 3 hours. We speak about the history of the work, the theory behind it, the scientific research that is ongoing right now around the globe to see what makes it just so dramatically, distinctly different than any form of energy healing that we've known of. We give everyone an opportunity to feel it in your hands And we bring up volunteers from the audience so we can do live demonstrations of the healing so we can see the reality of this, because in our seeing lies our knowingness, and in our knowingness lies our ability to see even more, and in both lies our mastery. Saturday and Sunday is a working seminar. It's a working seminar, and I'll tell you right now, don't come if you think we're all going to sit around, hold hands, om, and sing Kumbaya, my Lord. It won't happen that way. This really is my personality, and I don't get any prettier. This is it. I'm focused. Thank you. I'm focused. I'm serious. And the way it works is there's a stage in the center of the room. There's chairs on one side, massage tables on the other, usually one massage table for approximately every 4 people. I'll demonstrate a level of the healing from the stage. We'll talk about a little bit the philosophy or the science, and then we'll go to the tables in groups of either 2 or 4. I'll walk around to each table, and there'll be one person lying down, one person standing, and I'll say, here, watch. Just shift the position of your hand just a little and begin to feel right over here. Just let yourself feel that right over there. And as they tune into that sensation, suddenly they'll see the person's eyes start to rapidly dart back and forth on the table. Say, good, good, good. Now glide your hand here until the sensation changes. They'll go, here it is. And suddenly the person's foot will start to move, or their fingers, and then we'll find another spot, and we'll get another change. Then we'll move back, we'll get the first change again. And as we correlate that, we begin to see a clear, distinct, woo-woo free feedback system that allows people to begin to recognize and access what's going on. We go back to the chairs, we discuss what we just did, we demonstrate the next level, we go back to the tables, and by the end of that weekend, one weekend, not 3 years, not a year, not 6 months, one weekend, I can pretty much make you 2 promises. A, you'll be able to facilitate any level of healing that I can facilitate. If not just as well, then maybe better. And by the end of that one weekend, you will be able to facilitate any level of healing that any human being on this planet can facilitate, whether they've moved to a church in Brazil and changed their last name to of God, or whether they were raised by monks in a mountaintop in a cave in Tibet, and individual birds each picked up one grain of seed at a time and flew them in with their beaks hand-painted in chakra colors. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you create a story about a Russian girl lost in the woods or it does not matter the story we create around it. The fact is we can each access this to 100%, and this is now demonstrated in the 70,000 people that I've taught this work to. These healings can be brought through the same through each and every one of us. It is up to us to recognize that we can bring through the fullness of who and what we are. We can reconnect. We can heal others. And in the process, we heal ourselves. But only when we recognize we have to stop looking outside for someone or something. We have to come back home. Come back home.
Eric Pearl, thank you very much for your time today. It was an absolute honor to chat to you, and I do hope we can hook up sometime soon.
Thank you. Me too.